Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1990's Represent. We are now in our first cycle of 1993, and we're starting off with an album, and we are starting off with Wu-Tang Clan's 1993 debut of Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. This was on my essential album list from last year. This is going to be a much more kind of in-depth look at this definitely iconic rap slash hip hop album. Um, East Coast rap here on display, and it's an amazing record. You just got some iconic tracks on here like Cream, Bring the Ruckus, Method Man, the song title, not necessarily the rapper. I mean, it's a Method Man song, but the song's called Method Man. You have Clan in the front, just some iconic, just early 90s rap and hip hop. We get my notes here. We're going to talk about this album and just let you know all about that. So we pop the notes here. Let's see what we have here. So Wu-Tang Clan, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, first released November 9th, 1993. Produced by the RZA, probably one of my favorite members of the group. I would say it's probably top three are probably RZA, ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, and Method Man. But I think RZA's kind of been my favorite for a while, just with his like production and like using like samples from like martial arts films. Just an incredible producer, really good rapper. His Bobby Digital, his 1998 like solo debut, I think is what it was also really good. And he basically raps on that the entire album. But produced by RZA, basically the two martial arts films that kind of inspired the name are Enter the Dragon and the 36th Chamber of Shaolin. Obviously, New York rap, and doing some research for this kind of came out during what was called like the New York or East Coast rap renaissance. And looking into that, it was like from like the mid '80s to the mid '90s. You had like groups like Tribe Called Quest and stuff like that out of New York, doing great stuff. I guess Beastie Boys up to a certain degree were doing their thing as well. They were a little bit more like rock, like using rock instruments in a lot of those, but then they did like Paul's Boutique. Like obviously License to Ill, their debut album came out around like the mid '80s, so it was kind of like right when that kind of renaissance was starting. But Wu-Tang Clan came out, and it kind of in the research I was doing brought the kind of prominence back to New York rap specifically, because after this you had debut albums from Nas, you had like Biggie coming up like a year after this, and so definitely kind of like led way to kind of like a shift in the rap, because I think like there's certain years where you could definitely say it's more of an East Coast year or more of a West Coast year. I can definitely see 1992, maybe 1993, as being maybe a little bit more West Coast, because I know you had Dr. Dre doing the Chronic in 1992. 1993 has some really good Ice Cube albums. I don't know if it was a Predator or Lethal Injection. It was, I may be mixing those up, but are the release dates. But then after that, you had like 1994, you had Biggie coming up. 1998 specifically, I think, was very much a East Coast year with like DMX dropping two albums. You had Jay-Z dropping an album, and just Beastie Boys obviously dropping Hello Nasty and so on. But the apparently the formation of the group was RZA, GZA, and ODB, who are cousins. They kind of formed their own group, and I think it's called Force of the Imperial Master. Biz Markie, I guess, took notice of this. This is according to the research I did. Notice of this, and they ended up getting signed by separate labels. At least RZA and GZA did. Signed to separate labels, which they eventually both got dropped from. After they got dropped from those labels, they started. They brought in Ghostface Killah, and they started then forming the Wu-Tang Clan, with kind of like a key like component of what they were doing was being inspired by martial arts films. There's like a really amazing interview with RZA, I think somewhat recently, so maybe a couple years ago or something. I'll leave it in the description, but he talks about just some of the films that inspired him, like specifically the martial arts films and things like that. So they then got formed after kind of like they're both Jizza and RZA got dropped with their labels and met up, got brought in Ghostface, and then they kind of started it from there. Um, a lot of the apparently the album has like a rough sound to it, and that was like one of the members, don't remember who, was saying kind of RZA's kind of equipment wasn't necessarily the best, so it kind of had like a little like a rough kind of quality to it. In that interview, I remember him like specifically talking about like a sampler, so like trying to get samples out of these martial arts films, like dialogue, because when you put the album in, it's like oh the Wu-Tang and the it's like the Wu-Tang sword style and the Shadow Clan boxing. It's like the Wu-Tang could be dangerous, and it's like, do you think your Wu-Tang sword can defeat me? And it's like, oh guard or whatever. Just all the samples from the different movies. Apparently, like with the equipment that RZA was using on that, RZA was saying how much of a pain it was to kind of like get like the videotape to the right spot, get it timed to where when you by the time you hit the button on the sampler and on the VCR, you were getting like the right sample and not like getting like not enough of it or too much or whatever it was. But that was really interesting. There's only two songs on the album that actually only feature one member each, and the first one is Method Man. So Method Man just features Method Man, of course, and the other is Clan of the Front, which is just a Jizza track. The album came out to pretty good reviews overall. And then I think like looking back on the album, you can definitely I think some of those reviews ended up actually being like retrospective reviews ended up putting the album even higher up than maybe they did initially. Let me pull up the track listing here. I can put the notes down now. So pull up the track list for the album. I think the version that I listened to had a couple extra like tracks on there. I think they were like a Method Man remix, and then there was one that had like a Cream, not remix, but like it was just there was no production to it, so it was basically just like a cappella, I guess. But looking at the CD, this is the version that the normal version comes out to be about 58 minutes in length and 12 tracks. And I think the version of the one that I listened to on Apple Music had a few extra. But track one is Bring the Ruckus. That's a classic. Track two is Shame on a Playa. Not gonna say the full name of that song, but that's definitely like an ODB song. It's really good. Track three is Clan of the Front, and that's the one that is basically just performed by Jizza, at least according to the research. Track four is Wu-Tang, Seventh Chamber. Track five is Track five is a little Can It Be Also Simple, which is like an intermission. They call it an intermission track. Track six is The Mystery of Chess Boxing, and that's like I said, track six. In the RZA video, he mentioned that's one of the I think Chess Boxing is like one of the martial arts movies. It was actually called something like that, and they got the name of the song from that movie. Track seven is Wu-Tang Clan and Nothing to F With, and that was really good. Track eight is Cream, so Cash Rules Everything Around Me, Dollar Dollar Bill, y'all. Cream is probably one of their more iconic. It might even be their most well-known song. Don't necessarily know if it's my favorite, but Cream is really good. Track 9 is Method Man. I think also the track was like the beginning of the track is sometimes called Torture because it has the Wu-Tang Clan members talking about they're like I'll stab your tongue with a rusty screwdriver and a bunch of weird crazy kind of like things like that. But Method Man's a really good song. So that's track 9. Track 10 is Protect Your Neck. Also iconic. Track 11 is Tears. Track 12 is Wu-Tang Seventh Chamber Part 2, which is the kind of conclusion. So just like I said earlier, an amazing, iconic album. Definitely kind of like paved the way for what some people were calling or like was a key part of the kind of New York rap renaissance. Because I think they said that ran from like 1986 to 1997. So this came out like 1993. So definitely a key part of that. But overall, just an amazing album. Let me actually pull up the version that I've been listening to on Apple Music, because it has a few extra tracks on it. Enter the Wu-Tang. Here we go. And let me see, Seventh Chamber. Yeah, so the version on Apple Music that I've been using has a total of 15 tracks. So track 12, Seventh Chamber, part 2, the conclusion one is the last track on the CD. But this has another version of Protect Your Neck, which I think is like a remix. Let me see what it says here. Yeah, so a remix of Protect Your Neck. It has another version of like a remix of Method Man. And then finally, so basically on this version, track 13 is a remix of Protect Your Neck, or a different version of that. Track 14 is a Method Man remix. And then track 15 is Cream. And I think that one is just, we actually loaded up here. Yeah, that's basically just like a straight up acapella. So it's basically just the vocals without any kind of music to it at all. So the version I've been listening to on Apple Music has 15 tracks. Um, those remixes are fine. They're not the main album is still amazing. Those tracks I think I could either take or leave, but they're still pretty interesting. But that's going to do it for this video. So this is we're in our first cycle of 1993. We're going to be doing a movie after this, and then shortly after that we'll be doing a video game, then moving into the rest of the decade. And then once we get to the end, we're going to start all over again with 1990. But that's going to do it for this video. So remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.